What? Oh, you want to know the truth about that Mike Lynn fella? You reporters. Well, I can tell you what the locals around here remember. Everything Mike Lynn is today is because of Mama's pancake special. 2 eggs, sausage and bacon, 3 pancakes, and orange juice. Orange juice. He was in here 7 days a week doing deals over Mama's pancake special. And Mavis, his favorite waitress, she swears that he'd eat 2-3 breakfasts a day, forcing pancakes down old-timers' throats till they agreed to sell their wells.
Oh, yeah, I remember Mike Lynn. He'd have all these papers on the table covered in syrup, talking to Blue Street. That man could tuck the corn off a cob. I'd see people sign papers and run out of the restaurant. Then Mike could go to the next table, and the next, and the next. Glad-handed all the way.
Yeah, Mike's ability to work a room from a cocktail party standpoint is better than anybody I've known. He's made a tremendous impact in the Houston community in an extremely short period of time because of his social capabilities. I mean, he's just very gifted in terms of being able to speak with anyone, making them feel important, and understanding, you know, what it is that they're bringing to the table, and then sharing with him, with that individual, what's important to him as well. So he's very good in a broad sense, and he's very well read. His depth of knowledge, anywhere from politics all the way through oil and gas, is quite impressive.
Mike Lynn could make friends with a pit bull. I guess in his business you had to. You know, I heard there was a dairy farmer out in Cambridge Springs, and he sat on his front porch in his underwear playing bongo drums while Mike tried to get him to agree to a lease. And I'm told he built his whole business around complete strangers. Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
I first met Mike. I was an investment banker with RBC Capital Markets. Had a concept of taking an E&P company public as an MLP. I thought it'd be a great new segment of the market, and explained the concept to him. And you know, Mike, unlike a lot of people, it was a new idea, a new concept, and he embraced it immediately. We walked out of that conference room, and it was almost like 10 minutes later we were the best of friends. He hired me to take him public. I was his investment banker. About 2 or 3 months later, I decided I wanted to do it with him. It just continued. It was a great friendship, and Mike always made it fun.
The other thing about Mike Lynn, he was always willing to try new things. Change didn't scare him. Now, changing his breakfast scared him. Nothing else.
He was the only person in the energy space that was willing to take a risk like that, to do something new. The concept was clearly, as a banker, you wanted to start a sector. You wanted one person to do it, and then after that you wanted it to be done 20 times. But it was met with such resistance by most, and Mike embraced it so openly right away that really the opportunity for me that I thought was better was, before people even figure out what we're doing, we'll have done a lot better than I would have obviously done as a banker trying to get 20 other people to do it. And you look at where we are now as a $10 billion enterprise value company, and most of the others that have kind of copied our structure are still a ways behind us. So Mike told me one time, he said, you know, most people don't like change. He said, you and I love change. We wake up every day hoping for change.
Mike is a very action-oriented guy. The biggest phrase in Mike is I don't know how many times I haven't seen him come through the door and say, we need to buy something. We just need to buy something.
So we have the breakfast dealings, his ability to talk to a tree. He can never relax, and he sees possibilities that others don't see. And finally, there's no good way to put this, but he's the last man in the world you want to play cards with. He is hands down the luckiest person in the world. And in the oil business, that's a great thing to be.
George Alcorn would always say he's a lucky Irishman, and I can think of a couple of deals that came to us that were material to Lynn that actually were either because of his relationship or he just kind of happened to strike a chord with an individual and they had an asset mix that really worked for us and a deal developed out of some relationship that he developed. He made a great call on when we exited Appalachia, the timing of that exit, what it meant for the company, how it repositioned our company and shored up our balance sheet. Really was a good call on his part, kind of a surprising call at the time that he made it, but it turned out to be the right thing for us as a company. Granite Wash is definitely lucky. Now, attribute that to the lucky Irishman? Possibly. But when we bought Dominion, yes, we didn't think about the Granite Wash being exploited horizontally, that it's being exploited now. He's got a phrase around here called blind squirrel potential, and he likes to what that means is you buy an asset, you don't really know what you're really getting. You think you know what you're getting, but it's all those unknowns that end up adding a lot of value for the organization, and we tend to call that around here blind squirrel potential.
You know, I think that the luck comes to those who are willing to make the tough decisions and, like I said, do things that are different and not be afraid of change. And I think that's really been the source of our luck. If you think about MLPs in the midstream space, they've been very successful. They're a $5 billion segment of the market in the early 90s. They're close to $300 billion today. Aggregating mature assets and delivering a tax-deferred yield is something that's very appealing to the marketplace. In oil and gas, no one had really done it in its modern-day form. Now, what was exciting is that the U.S. oil and gas market is probably 10 times the size of midstream, and no one was doing it. And I think the two things that really come together, if you wanted to make it most simple, is that the U.S. is the most mature producing region in the world. There's literally more wells in the U.S. than the whole world combined. Yet every oil and gas company in the U.S. is chasing the next discovery in the most mature producing region in the world. So best of luck to them. And a lot of them do well, and I'm not going to take anything away from them. But the opportunity set is clearly, there's more opportunities on the mature asset side. And then the second component is, if you think about the demographics of the U.S., it's aging, and that aging population is looking for a tax-deferred yield. I mean, you're getting much less than 1% in your bank account, and people are looking for a place to get yield. So if you can marry those two concepts together, you can be very successful, and I think that's what we've done. And it's one of the things that Mike understood right away without a whole lot of thinking and embraced it immediately.
Hey, buddy, here comes Mavis. Yes, indeed. So Mike's a big city big shot now. Pillar Houston Society, winner of the Chief Roughneck Award. But I'll tell you this, no matter how important he gets, he'll never get a better breakfast than this.